Welcome to the Blessed Teach Show. This is Rick, your host, here on Friday, November 15th, and we have tons of new Q. I think there's 10 or 11 new Q since I was able to report last on it, and an SB2 and news and all kinds of things going on, including the webinar I did last night, and it's just like crazy stuff, and that's my big passion area. I'll talk to you about it a little bit later. Here's my plan. Since I'll be live tomorrow earlier, probably around 4 o'clock, I am going to go over all the Q posts then. I'm going to skim through the Q posts now. Then I'm going to hit the full SB2 because it is awesome. You've got to get this SB2 right away. So I'm going to do that entire SB2. And then we'll go over a little bit of my passion area, some maybe if we have time to actually go over Jesus versus what the Bible says about it versus the Quran. I think it's an important thing that I did another write-up on that. And I'm not sure, we'll probably not have time for all that, but I'll finish up anything I don't finish tonight. We will get on the show tomorrow. Okay, so promise that. Now, I really want to get into all the SB2, so I'm going to try to get through that whole thing. Aaron Baker was the first one on. Wow, good evening, everyone. Thank you. Caffeine Addict came on right there, then Sharon, and then we have Anon Baker, and we got people from Montana, and we've got people from Southern California. We've got people from Kansas. We've got people from another person from Southern California, from Conroe, Texas, etc. Thank you guys for all being on. It's awesome. But Sarah saying, it's happening. It's happening. That's right. I see somebody from Florida that I missed up there. Stable Genius saying, where we go one, we go all. That's all right. Let's get into this. We got Showtime. People are saying Philly here, Australia. Reality Bites from Australia. I love it. Chicago. Aloha from obviously. I imagine that means Hawaii. Okay, I am going to get into just really quickly going over some of the Q posts in a second. I do want to talk about something that was weird though. I was trying to get through all our SB2 posts, and I started getting this all the time. Because this MAGAimage.net is completely down. I'll hit a refresh again. So Deep State trying to silence SB2. Fortunately, SB2 came back, put everything up on a different site. So we are able to continue despite MAGA.image being down. So that is pretty interesting how powerful they are. You probably heard about Mr. Edward Snowden being on Joe Rogan. I've listened to some more Joe lately, and I know people think he's an asset, but I think he was talking about Eddie Bravo. He was in one of the last videos, and he was talking about Epstein, talking about the CIA and Bill Clinton being a pedo. So I'm not so sure. He's not being a very good one if he is. He still swears a ton and brings on creepy people. So who knows? I'm still waiting to look here, but. Edward Snowden recently appeared on the Joe Rogan Store and exposed the frightening truth about how much data the government is really collecting on you and everyone else just by the use of your iPhone and Android cellular devices. You think your phone is secured? Thank you. Your phone calls, location, contact list, Wi-Fi usage, who you hang out with not to mention all the apps that are open on your phone, Instagram, Facebook, Uber, as well as all the data they are collecting and storing are all being stored in a database to potentially use against you if you ever become targeted. The interview was very eye-opening and downright scary, and someone every American should be paying serious attention to. One of the best things you can do to help protect your personal phone and internet data is sign up for a free 30-day trial of Virtual Shield. And you can do that right here, guys. Just go to virtualshield.com. It's virtualshield.com and say get started. It's easy as that. You'll pick either a family plan or your own plan, and you can get 30 days free before you roll into the $4.99 plan. There's actually a better deal if you go to my site, which is virtualshield.com/blessed. It's the lowest I've ever seen it. If you pay 2 years in advance, it goes down to an average of $2.99 a month. That is crazy to see how cheap that is. And it's also 40% off the Black Friday here. So Virtual Shield is offering a Black Friday month-long special of 40% off all VPN plans and all premium and add-ons, including Protection Plus, residential access, and VIP performance plans as low as a cup of coffee. And guys, this is a really important concept about how it changes your IP address. So as you know, mine has 187 in it. Those of you who've seen it, I'm showing you just part of them. It's not safe to show all of it, but it's 47.187, right? But once you log in to Virtual Shield, which I'm logged in right now, streaming like mad, you can see it's changed it to 4532 dot. So it changes it completely. That's the trick to this. Go get yourself at virtualshield.com/blessed. The link's down below in the video. Let's look at some of these Q posts. I'm not going to go over all these. I'm just going to go see the 11. I'll go over it in detail tomorrow. It says Q informed Anons about whistleblower traps back in March 2018. That just shows another Q proof is what that is. Here is 3597. Here is We Are the News. Anons knew back in July that Sarah Carter and John Solomon were monitored. A Q proof. We've known that for quite some time. I see somebody coming on backstage. Thank Dave. I'm just going to mute everybody because it's actually being very loud. Mute all. And obviously I can't let everybody, I cannot allow people to unmute themselves during the broadcast. But David, I'll talk to you afterwards. And others that want to come on backstage, join me. IS at the end of my video means I'm in studio. When I'm in studio, I've got two cameras now. One that's kind of showing here, Rocky's in it. I'll switch it to a different camera when Rocky's outside, just to make it a little more interesting for the backstage people. Gene will be back soon. We'll go over the second part of ice. The second part of Antarctica. So that is interesting stuff. So anyway, this is, and again, I'm going to go over more detail tomorrow at 4 o'clock. D's walking into a trap. That's exactly right. That's talking about, and we're going to talk about that a little bit in the SB2 Decode. Spygate, who gave the orders and approved the spying on Trump and Ted Cruz? And a whole big Decode we'll get into tomorrow again. The armor of God, he puts it twice here. That is pretty cool. That's Ephesians 6, usually 10 through 20 or so. Sometimes I go to 13 through 18, I think are the ones I've memorized, but as part of my memory verses. But this is an awesome, awesome thing to see Q posting this, especially when SB2 was talking about incorrect doctrine. So I'm actually in contact with him about that. So hopefully he'll get that cleared up. Company co-founded by Nancy Pelosi's son is charged with securities fraud. And Paul Pelosi Jr. served on the Ukraine Gas Company board just like Hunter Biden. I think those are the main ones. Alexander Chalupa, Ukraine, and the DNC plot to link Trump to the Russia hoax. Those were all the ones on the 13th. Prosecutor John Durham and Q started on the same date. I think we covered that these earlier ones last time. Why did the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine illegally monitor comms of U.S. journalists in Ukraine? So here we have the Ukrainian governments, the corruptness everywhere with the oil companies, all that stuff. Now they also were basically spying on our journalists, including Sarah Carter and John Solomon, including Sean Hannity, everything. So we saw this one, indictments coming in 2019. So I'm going to go over those in detail tomorrow at 4 o'clock. But right now I'm jumping to SB2 because he has an awesome decode. That's all there is to it. So here is he communicates with me via vote email and sends me the post, and so I was glad to see he did that because in the Reddit it was down like I was showing you. So I'm going to go all the way to the top here and start digging in. Rosenstein, Kelly, and Tillerson started the coup. Adam is only trying to finish it. So this is SB2. Let's roll. Q is back. How about celebrating with another SB2 confirmation from POTUS? The Maestro confirmed my decode entitled The Whistleblower, a C_A operation planned and ordered by Hussein with a tweet posted on November 9th, 2019. So this is image one, which you can't get to here. If you click on this, you're gonna loop into that maganet.com. It doesn't work. So he put this new one up here for MIR1. Thank goodness. So this is working really well. Q3230. Shall we play another Q-proof game? So here's a Q-proof game as far as SB2 goes, and he basically is saying on November 9th at 10:44 a.m. you have this nationalism book by Rich Lowry. I'm saying bringing the word nationalism back into the mainstream. Great job, Rich Lowry. And the timestamp on that, 10:44, brings us to a bunch of Q posts. The capital letters on there means language, 68, BRNLV, which are the capital letters in this tweet. 68, which in Gematria also means language. And then you'll see we have another tweet at 6:44 a.m., another tweet at 6:47 a.m. where he retweeted things, right? And those point to the American flag, and it also points to this here that says, I posted this so many times, tomorrow's Freedom Day. Q posted a flag and named freedom and timing is everything. Day of days. So we're talking about nationalism. We're talking about the flag as a symbol of the Freedom Day. The decode is this. The maestro mentions the book used in a previous drop and confirms my decode about a conspiracy effort to eliminate from our language words that frighten the enemy and jeopardize their control agenda. So remember, SB2 was talking about this nationalism book. Sure enough, he uses the same book, kind of pointing and giving the wink toward SB2. That's what we're getting here. And then we see these two things talking about this and about the national book and the flag and all that. It says, decoded message, Biden's gun plan, which he tweeted about here, is a direct attack on our freedom and yet another proof his agenda is rooted in socialism and contradicts fundamental principles adopted by the founding fathers. Anything that is done to prevent him from leading this country is therefore considered a patriotic undertaking. The power of words. To sell us their bogus socialist agenda, they attack words like nationalism to make them appear negatively charged, when in fact they hold the ultimate energies and aspirations of a true patriot. Being a nationalist essentially means loving your nation. Be proud to be a nationalist. Do you know why the maestro said GD in a rally? Because there's nothing wrong reminding people that God damned Satan except for Satan, who considers it a big flaw in his CV. CV being like a resume, right? Be vigilant. Don't let them destroy our dictionary. Image taken from an article, the whistleblower, CIA operation planned and ordered Hussein. So this is another point back to the past SB2 decode being confirmed by POTUS. From my previous post, we know the C_A whistleblower was activated for the coup that was planned and ordered by Hussein. What if I told you that the comms revealed the identity of other bad actors that are positioned higher than the whistleblower in the coup chain of command? I think that's funny, the coup chain of command, COC, right? Did you catch Nikki Haley's explosive revelation in her new book that John Kelly and Rex Tillerson tried to recruit her to undermine POTUS? Let's watch until 7:30. This may be a little long, and I'll just tell you about it, but she does a great job talking about how those two took her in the room and basically tried to get her turned.
Day to the last.
The book is full of so many stories, fascinating, interesting stories that I was local news in South Carolina, so I loved a lot of this. But everyone's focusing on what you wrote in those first few pages about your relationship with Rex Tillerson and John Kelly and how they were trying to tell you to resist the president. He has since come out, John Kelly did.
I'm going to fast forward this.
Love America, but they were undermining a president and undermining our Constitution.
Here's what John Kelly said in your book. The president didn't know what he was doing. Quote, I don't even think he realized what the legislative branch is and that members of Congress are elected by the people too. And what Tillerson said exactly, so we should get this right, my conversations with the president in the privacy of the Oval Office were always candid, frank, and my recommendations straightforward. Once the president made a decision, we at the State Department undertook our best efforts to implement those decisions. Ambassador Haley was rarely a participant in many of those meetings and is not in a position to know what I may or may not have said, so you don't know if he called him a moron or not. I continue to be proud of my service as our country's 69th Secretary of State.
Well, and you know what I'll tell you, Brian, is then why did the president ask me to come in and be reinforcement when Rex wouldn't? When Rex was stalling getting out of the Iran deal, why was I the one that went to Vienna to go to the IAEA and deal with that? When Rex didn't want to move the embassy to Tel Aviv, why did he go on the record to make sure everyone knew he was totally against it? I mean, and like with the Palestinian aid, even though the president agreed not to give the aid, Rex turned around and gave half anyway.
$60 billion or something.
Half anyway. And the president was furious because he specifically said, we're not going to do that.
In that statement that Rex Tillerson gave to the Washington Post, he's only talking about his meetings with the
White
president.
House, right.
He's not talking about your meetings, and just the three of you were in that one meeting. But I know you're calling out John Kelly and you're calling out Rex Tillerson. How many other people in the cabinet were resistant to what this president was trying to do?
You know, I think what was alarming for me, and the reason why I wrote about this was because it was such a big part of my time at the UN, you know, kind of watching this happen. But they were two top officials. And the reason...
But there were others?
There were no others that I saw that tried to do this. What bothered me so much, though, is I was a governor. I was elected. And if anyone in my cabinet had done that to me or tried to undermine me, that's incredibly dangerous. And here you've got a president who is a disruptor trying to change the status quo. And they just disagreed with that. And what I've said all along is, do what I did whenever I had an issue. Go sit down with the president, tell him what you think, and if you don't like it, leave. But don't sit there and stall what he's asking you to do or try and go around what he's asking you to do in the name of you thinking that you know better than the rest of, you know, than the president himself.
Yeah, and they actually took her in her room. She says this, if you have time to go look at it in more detail, and tried to get her to change her ways and resist the president. As you can see, John Kelly and Rex Tillerson were trying to save Hussein's Iran deal, and they were therefore working to preserve the classified satellite nuclear facility in northern Syria that we went through in the previous decodes. Coup, 1306. What if Iran created a classified satellite nuclear facility in northern Syria? What if the program never ceased? Nikki Haley also revealed that Tillerson went behind POTUS's back to release half of the aid to Palestine. If you paid attention, you know the Palestine issue is a hoax. A MOS, Mossad, C_A, MI6 deception created to justify U.S. aid that never reaches the Palestinian populations and that is divided to finance black ops in order to maintain conflict zones for the facilitation of child trafficking and other criminal activities. This is a fascinating subject that I'll write about one day, God willing. It starts with the hijacking of the Mufti of Jerusalem positions by the MI6 and the Hitler connection. When Bibi tried to talk about it, Hussein asked him to stop. For now, we'll just deduce that John Kelly and Rex Tillerson were working for C_A interests. To go further and find the connection with the whistleblower operation, we need to analyze the last tweets the maestro dropped on November 10th, 2019, the starting point between where he mentions Nikki Haley's book. Before we dive into these tweets, do you like Greek mythology? Do you know the myth of Orpheus and this name is a little bit tricky. It's Eurydice. So Eurydice, here is the summary. And so Orpheus and Eurydice, this is a pretty long video, so I can't play the whole thing, but I'll just give you a bit of it.
It was the perfect wedding, the guests thought. The groom was Orpheus, the greatest of all poets and musicians. The bride, Eurydice, a wood nymph. Anyone could tell the couple was truly and deeply in love. Suddenly, Eurydice stumbled, then fell to the ground. By the time Orpheus reached her side, she was dead, and the snake that had bitten her was slithering away through the grass.
All right, the story goes on and on about how he tried to go back all the way to basically where people were dead, going through all these evil places and playing harps and music to subdue them, and did a deal that he could get her back, and then unfortunately just kind of like in the Bible, where the pillar of salt wife, right? He looked back and that was his deal. He couldn't look back while he was leaving, and he lost her again. And it's a big, long story, love story with all these weird things in it. But we are now equipped to decode the first tweet. Let's look at this. This is Orpheus and Eurydice. So Eurydice, and here you are, have Donald Trump talking about Nikki Haley's book. Take all the capital letters, and it means Orpheus. So it points to that. And also the time of the tweet is 1802, which is something big is about to drop. They tried to recruit me, as Nikki Haley talked about, right? So the decode is this. The story of Orpheus and Eurydice is about trust. We often trust snakes who do not work for our best interest and who are waiting for the right time to morally bite us and deprive us from what we cherish. It also symbolizes the love of country and the great sacrifices that patriots are willing to make to save it from the evil forces whose agenda is to destroy our values, steal our wealth, and confiscate our freedom. Once that choice to save the country is made, there is no turning back, no looking back, no dills. We must go all the way and focus on the prize, freedom. Do you now see the maestro braving the forces of evil in the Washington underworld and shifty Congress basement with the magic of his tweet lira to save America from their claws? So as you can see, with Orpheus, the maestro confirms Nikki Haley's allegations on the lack of trust he has in Kelly and Tillerson. Future proofs past. Both of them attacked the maestro with disgraceful remarks. Rex Tillerson allegedly stated POTUS was a moron, to which the maestro responded, "Let's have an IQ test." So you can see right here where he talks about that.
Well, President Trump is challenging Secretary of State Rex Tillerson to, quote, compare IQ tests, unquote, if Tillerson did indeed call the president a moron. The president tells Forbes magazine he thinks it's fake news, but claims he would win the IQ test if it came to that. Trump and Tillerson are expected to have lunch together in about a half hour with Defense Secretary Jim Mattis.
Are you ready, Rex? Here's the IQ test. How Rex? About an IQ test. And here you see a tweet. What was the security test? In the following tweet established that the capital letter count 102 is code for Orpheus, right? Despite the obvious, what was the maestro hinting at when he referred to Rex Tillerson as dumb as a rock? What do you deduce? And here's this tweet where he's got two stops and a hello. The clue one. The repetition stop and stops in the tweets is an indication we should focus on these two words. We put them side by side with Orpheus to extract the common letters. Orpheus, stop, stops. We notice POS is the key, which is not surprising given the context. The targeted repetition generates T equals 20 and TS equals 39, which leads to the message. T plus TS equals 59, renegade. Hussein is pulled in. Clue 2, we notice Rex equals rock equals 47, dumb as rock is 108, Rex QAnon is 108, lock him up is 108. This is an indication Rex was under military surveillance, and not only the results were very bad, but a pipeline connecting him to HRC was found. The random mention to hello is an indication we should focus on that word. Since Orpheus travels to the underworld to fight the forces of darkness, we test the word hell and see where we land. Since hell equals 37, Rex equals 47, and Orpheus equals 102, we deduce the beautiful Rex equation. Rex equals Orpheus minus 55 equals hell plus 5 plus 5. The interpretation of this equation, we notice Judas equals 55. Military surveillance determined that Rex was dumb as a rock, a Judas secretly connected to Hussein and HRC, and who was removed from the Orpheus team of patriots and transferred to the hell of traitors. So Rex, did you solve, or is it your brain still trapped in corporate linear thinking? You should know better. Pipelines are never straight lines. Let's now take a closer look at John Kelly. He kind of gave it away when he stated months after he was fired. And that's just sad, guys, in my opinion. It's like that shows you he's a traitor, right? So former White House staff, John Kelly, said he would serve under Hillary Clinton if she were elected president in 2016, according to NBC News. And you can click on here and see the NBC News article and actually go find that. But wow. And let's also notice how the fake news unanimously tried to sell the fact that no one wanted his job after he was fired. And there's a link there to that right there where, man, then they went crazy. This is interesting. If you have time and want to go look at this in the show notes, you'll see video after video after video after video after video of all these nighttime shows just slamming Trump. Another one. I think there's 8 or 9 of them there, all slamming Trump, acting like people didn't want. And that was the 4 a.m. talking point, that nobody wanted that position, which was a complete lie. Now, fake news unanimously tried to sell the fact that no one wanted his job after he was fired. Knowing this, what do? Yes, we decode the maestro's tweets referring to his departure to discover the real reason he was let go. And we see MH4 to Ranner 4, the firing of Kelly, and the predicted fake news pattern. Notice that there's a big fan going off, and probably messing my video, my audio up a little bit. I want to apologize. I'll move things around, try to get that fan noise down. I don't have my over fan going, but just wanted to let you guys know that I am aware of that background noise. That will get fixed here as we move things around. I got a light that makes a little bit of noise, and then these fans that are trying to cool things down. So the fan comes down here and it keeps these fans off, so it's kind of a catch-22 about how to keep it cool in here as well as keep my sound good. But here's the firing of Kelly and the predicted fake news pattern. You can see Donald Trump saying replacing General John Kelly, and you look at all the capital letters there, you see enough is enough. See, it also points to 1718, DC moves slow. And then here you've got another tweet, and all the capital letters talk about organized shelves. For the record, there were many people who wanted to be the White House Chief of Staff. McM will do a great job. And here are some more tweets he's talking about. If you look at all the capital letters, those who serve Satan are expendable. It also points to 2819 based on the timestamp. Deception, pretending not to hate Catholics. Haiti, symbolism will be their downfall. The capital letters, Make America Great Again, is Barack Hussein Obama. Great Patriot, 150. He went too far. So the decoded message of all this, and this is also talking about 51 Rise and Black Cat. So here is the John Kelly decode. John Kelly was part of the resistance. He shared HRC and Comey's satanic belief system. Q3. Many in our government worship Satan. He was secretly connected to Hussein and was tasked to sabotage POTUS, work through stalling. He was let go when the plan determined he served his purpose and that we were entitled to the next implementation phase required to organize the White House shelves. Knowing Kelly's true allegiance, POTUS predicted the unanimous fake news reaction to his firing and installed a time bomb for the record. Q 3245. Predictable and prepared. Q. We now have strong confirmations that Nikki Haley's statement about John Kelly and Rex Tillerson are true. And let's look at the second tweet of the series and find out where the snake that bit Eurydice was hiding. Where the snake that bit Eurydice. So here it is. It's the Dems aren't just ripping our country in half with this impeachment charade. They're also willingly setting fire to our alliance with Ukraine. He retweeted it at 2029. So you look there, you see Think polls posted yesterday. WAPO, pointing right to Washington Post. Democracy dies in darkness. They sit there and write all these hit articles on POTUS and Q, for that matter. What are the odds of that? Notice any similarities? Here's a decode of this. You can see the Dems do not care about the will of the American people, how the world sees America, and the negative impacts of their impeachment charade. For them, it has never been about America. It's always been about power, greed, deception, and hate of mankind. Q 1470. These people hate America. Q. The snake that bit Eurydice is hiding at the Washington Post. The maestro gave an additional clue at this rally in Monroe, Louisiana on November 18th. Watch till 1814.
We do love it. But think of this. 19 minutes after I took the oath of office, the horrible, disgusting Washington Post, which is a terrible paper, it declared the campaign, this is 19 minutes, I'd just taken the office, and an article comes out. The campaign to impeach President Trump has begun. Oh, that's nice. Thank you very much. See the reporter over there? Great. And then during the term, sleepy Joe Biden, who's dumb as a rock, said, you fired the guy you get $1 billion. You don't fire the guy, you get nothing. And it's on tape, and the press refuses to print it. You talk quid pro quo.
Guys, I pause because of the fan. I pause and I just missed that. Thank you for telling me no sound. We just lost about 30 seconds. Sorry about that. So I'll keep on going. So this is talking about 19 minutes and make up about the impeachment. So I just had played this. So here's the Washington Post article and the Meister referring to. So he was referring to the Washington Post office, and it was this Matta Gold person. Decode at 19 minutes. January 20th, 2017. Inauguration of President Trump, January 20th, 2017. Let's decode the article and discover the agenda for coming months and who the secret hero is. If you see this, the effort to impeach President Trump is already underway. And the 9th paragraph talks about strategists behind the campaign of impeachment said they are confident that other groups will join their cause. It goes on. And then there's some numbers here, you'll say, with some dates here. So if you look at this, if you take the 20 paragraphs and look at all the capital letters, you get 298. Facilitate reckless endangerment. If you look at the code of the first paragraph with that T and the 9th paragraph with the S, you get 2019. So they said it's going to all happen at 2019. And then we look at Nazi methods here, and this basically takes all these numbers, 1864, 1974, and 1999. You pull those together, and it spells Hitler. Woo! The same gematria as 72 as Hitler. Are you surprised they are secretly referring to Hitler to galvanize their troops? You should not. And guys, I'm just going to take an aside here. I remember having some long conversations with Gene, one of the decoders on here, right? And he actually has told me that about the 5 Illuminati groups, and one of them being the Nazis that have been in charge of many of our companies and in major parts of our positions. I thought he was crazy. SB2 is confirming it here, and just one of many things that are starting to confirm exactly what Gene's been telling me. June 1941. Was Nazism ever truly destroyed? Was it merely a subdivision within a larger organization? One finger attached to a hand? The 5 parts of the Illuminati he told us about in the Decode. Did Antifa organically form? Flag design coincidence? Socialists pushed in U.S. worldwide coincidence? Globalist power struggle? I asked you in the past. I will ask you again. Who won World War II? So Q talks about this a little bit too, but SB2's really challenged us who really won. Now, if you look at that Empire Strike Back book I'm reading now, and with Gene's decodes on Antarctica, you'll see that Nazism never went away. Can you see through the veils and understand the meaning of the EU Commission's first president being Hitler's former Secretary of State? In the previous article, I told you about the creation of the European Union by the C_A, quietly declassified, and the following. The EU was created and firstly presided by the Nazis in 1958. His name was Walter Hallstone. He was the dean of the University of Rostock in 1936, and in June 1938, Hitler and Mussolini commissioned him to create Das Neue Europa, the New Europe. He was captured by the American troops in 1944, and in 1951, they recycled him as Germany's Secretary of State under Konrad Adenauer. From there, he microwaved his 1938 project, which became the basis of the EU as we know it today, to make sure the EU commission would take the direction the cabal wanted. His puppet masters appointed him as the first president. So you think the Nazis lost World War II? Think again. I summarized the work of French President candidate François Hollande in this video. And there it is. It's all in French. But ask yourself a simple question. How in the world did Germany, after losing World War I, with a country in ruins and a destroyed economy, become the world's biggest military threat 15 years later? Where did the money come from? If this success story was real, shouldn't this economic model be the find of the century? They'll never tell you what really happened in the schools they control. The truth is, Hitler was financed by a network of U.S. business activated by the cabal. One of them was Prescott Bush, George W. Bush's grandfather. Here's a little bit of this.
Now we will explore how the American branch of the Illuminati aided and abetted Adolf Hitler, and how the Bushes were the first family when it came to treason.
I've been an investigative reporter and a journalist for 35 years. I've worked in every major media market in the United States, and I've written for more than 100 newspapers and magazines nationally and internationally. So last September 17th, I became the first journalist in U.S. history to go to the U.S. National Archives and the Library of Congress and pore over the thousands of pages of documents in both places to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt or any refutation of the facts that Prescott Bush, the grandfather of George W. Bush, and George Herbert Walker, his maternal great-grandfather for whom his daddy is named, were Nazi traitors to the country who should have been tried for treason. 2 weeks ago in...
There you go, guys, and he goes over a full, almost 10-minute video of all kinds of evidence against all the Bushes, Prescott Bush as well as Daddy Bush as well as George W., about how they were all skull and bones, the 322, and they, even though George Bush talked about the Bible, his real allegiance was to the 322 cult, the whole Illuminati, etc. So, you thought the U.S. was immune to Nazism? How about Operation Paperclip? This is what a lot of this paperclip is all about, what we're going over on Backstage with Gene about Antarctica. They built underground bases there. Tons of evidence for that. And tons of evidence for advanced spacecraft that were well beyond what ours were back then. How about the Hindenburg? Q142. What happened to the Hindenburg? What really happened to the Hindenburg? Q3157. Are you awake? Q. What are we currently witnessing? And here's a full video of what POTUS gave us to show this is what we are...
I'm announcing the House of Representatives
against.
Is moving forward
trying to
with
get
an official
that,
impeachment inquiry.
Sorry, I'm going to try to refresh that to start from the beginning. It's very loud. Here we go.
I'm concerned that if we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected.
We're going to impeach them.
I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry.
The candidates are pulling the Democratic Party to the left.
You guys ready for a radical idea?
Call me a radical.
First thing I do is going to repeal this Trump tax cut.
As you say, the party is moving that way. You consider yourself a capitalist.
Democrats have given up on capitalism, looking towards socialism for the answers.
All the 2020 frontrunners have embraced radical ideas.
Let's eliminate all of that. Let's move on. They're not willing to go to work, but they're going to get paid anyway. Well, that sounds like outright socialism.
Only one man can stop this chaos.
Together, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. And we will make America great again.
There you go. That was tweeted by Donald Trump. And that is what SB2 is saying. What are we currently witnessing? We have a Dems kangaroo court in Congress targeting the President of the United States with fabricated claims and with the complicity of the fake news. Before that, he was targeted by 18 angry Democrats piled up by Mueller's special counsel and tasked to find something, anything to remove him from office. Before that, they targeted candidate Trump with FISA and other illegal means to prevent him from winning the elections. Now question, if they are doing this to Donald J. Trump, a billionaire who became POTUS, what do you think they have in store for you? Q 1646. It is now more clear than ever. Never in our history have they been this exposed. Never in our history have they come out from the shadows to fight. The truth is clearly visible. It's right in front of you. Who are the true fascists? Who are the true racists? Why does the Antifa flag mimic that of Nazis? Coincidence? For humanity? Wake up, learn, fight, fight, fight. Where we go one, we go all. Q. Future proves past. The facilitate reckless endangerment that we decoded from the WAPO, the Washington Post article, was confirmed by attempts to assassinate POTUS and the collection of proofs that was discussed internally at the DOJ. Remember this, where the rocket was fired off, unauthorized missile fired, unauthorized emergency income missile that activated Hawaii, POTUS Air Force One, POTUS reroutes, no MSM investigations? Of course not, they're criminals. Biggest threat to the American people. Then 586. What would happen if texts originating from the FBI agent to several internals discussed the assassination possibility of the POTUS or member of his family? What if the test suggests foreign allies were involved? Those you trust the most? Guilty of sin. The next tweets and current events confirm the plan summarized by impeachment, a sham and smokescreen. So here's a tweet. He retweeted it here. A sham. Think WAPO. Washington Post. A disgusting smokescreen. Retweeted here. You must target, remove, and silence all those illegally targeted for FISA survey plus UK assistance. Decode. Future proves past. The impeachment charade we are witnessing is a sham, confirming the plan to stop Trump that was outlined in the WAPO following the Mueller special counsel play that consisted of attempting to clean up the FISA mess. The purpose of impeachment is for Dems to cover their crimes, a smokescreen. The common denominator is pedophilia. So here we are, a decoded message on 1 and 2. After you see the POWMIA Act pointing to they want the keys to the kingdom. You know that. They also have this triggered that was retweeted at 2051. You look at all the capital letters, you get nothing can ever make this okay. Talking about pedophilia, obviously. And you see these guys in white rabbit uniforms. These people need to all be eliminated. Those who know cannot sleep. And that's pointing to Dr. Don Jr. shuts down The View. Epstein ABC cover-up. Polensky normalization. Blackface. Here's the decoded message. Pedophilia, the common denominator found in politics, media, entertainment, and the alphabet agencies. Don Jr. recent brilliant and explosive appearance in The View exposed the hypocrisy of the fake news and Hollywood who collude to normalize it and cover it up. Nothing can ever make okay our children mysteriously disappearing and being abused. There can be no compromise, no deals. It's a war without mercy for the survival of mankind. The maestro's warning in image 11. What is the purpose of the sandwich? Prepare. You see John Solomon and Sarah Carter here. You get Ginny Perot as well as Mr. Dan Bongino, and these are retweeted at certain times. That brings in these Q drops 2053, and I hope you and Chris enjoy your time in the land of Alice and the Mad Hatter. All the best from Hanoi. H. Talking about, this is a WikiLeaks Hillary email. Video length was 326. What's the purpose of a sandwich? And then it brings in 2054, also National Preparedness Month. It's a time to collect our attention on the importance of preparing our families, homes, business, and communities for disasters. Here's a decoded message. For a sandwich, you need 2 slices of bread and the goodies in between. The release of the first transcript was the first slice, and the goodies were the Dems' corruption coming to light through the Bidens and Burisma. It seems the Dems have not learned from the Burisma episode and the deadly power of keywords. They want a complete sandwich, and they are demanding the second slice of bread with the remaining ingredients. No problem. Their crimes against children will soon be exposed and will climb to the ladder of responsibilities. Do you hear that, SHRC? When the maestro releases the second transcript, it will hit social media so hard you'll be able to grab the delicious sandwich on the left. It's turkey. It's on me. Interesting. So what's in that second transcript? He hints at it, and I'll show you in a second. Rosenstein was surveilled. Here's all the Rosenstein stuff. And we got tweets here. It's talking about military intelligence. Desperate people do desperate things. It's during this period of time that surveillance pays off. When does a bird sing? So he's talking about turnover, kidnapped, missed, Iran, and all kinds of other topics. And that brings in other things. It took the capital letters. It says people are much more evil than they appear. All these capital letters. History repeats itself. The decode is this. Fly, Rod Rosenstein, fly. You thought Rosenstein was bossy and evil? He's actually bossier and more evil than you could imagine. With Sessions' recusal, Rosenstein was the boss at the DOJ on everything Russia. Who determined something was Russia-related? Rosenstein. He was therefore the boss of the DOJ. When someone has this type of power, thinks he's a divinity, and is voted in 94-6, when his boss only could secure 52-47, what do you do if you have reasons to be suspicious? You surveil him through the military intelligence. Q 2108 is during this period of time that surveillance pays off. In addition to what we already know about his involvement in FISA, evidence that Rosenstein was involved in pedophilia, human trafficking, and Uranium One was collected. Surprised? You shouldn't. It's right here. Q 2118. If Rod Rosenstein is dirty, Mueller must be dirty. If Mueller is dirty, Rod Rosenstein must be dirty. Rosenstein committed treason. Renegade 59. So we see a tweet here, the true story of how Congressman Devin Nunes uncovered the biggest political scandal in history. Shows very bad and corrupt people on the other side. That pulls in this drop, 3325. Why would President of the United States Hussein assign Renegade his USS code name? Define Renegade. Look at all the capital letters. You get I unfriended all the politicians. You look at Q 1223. They think they are clever. Q. And Trump says, had a good talk with Rosenstein. No plans to fire him. So the decoded message is this. Like Hussein, Rosenstein is a traitor, a renegade. He was protected by John Kelly, who never missed an opportunity to advise and organize what would keep him around. POTUS played along and acted as if he did not know they were on the same team. He kept Rod Rosenstein long in the game for optics. Rod Rosenstein could not accomplish anything significant except surviving. He was used to validate the Mueller report with Barr, and when it was time to fire him, he was offered a goodbye party for the cameras. It's now time to use him again to explain what really happened, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Q 1340. This is why we are here. Q. Rosenstein the fabricator. See a tweet here? Republicans have requested the list of witnesses for the impeachment hearing. Will Adam Schiff permit them to testify? That brings in some other information and some pretty long things I'm not going to read in the interest of time. We'll just go right to the decoded message. We see Mr. Rosenstein. That's the picture I have right up here. Where is the server, Bob? The content of the Mueller report and the fact that the witnesses were never called to testify prove Mueller was never interested in finding the truth about Russia and the so-called hacking at the DNC. The Mueller probe was an operation to clean up the FISA mess and to set the stage for impeachment. Rosenstein was Mueller's boss. He gave him all the powers he needed to cover the truth by targeting Flynn, Manafort, Page, and Papadopoulos, and replaced that truth with a fabrication. Interesting, isn't it? Dismissal of key witnesses, dismissal of exculpatory evidence, targeting of innocent people, fabrication. It seems Schiff went to the same impeachment school Rosenstein graduated from. Q, 1941. Was Nazism ever truly destroyed? Let's watch McCabe describe how Rosenstein brought up the 25th Amendment. Most of you have probably seen this. It was on 60 Minutes. I'm going to just quickly play part of it.
But McCabe says Rosenstein raised another idea. The 25th Amendment to the Constitution allows the Vice President and a majority of the Cabinet to remove the President.
We've heard a lot about that, so I'm going to skip that. Now we are equipped to meet Rosenstein the spy. So there we are, a tweet that he retweeted, coordinating with the whistleblower before a complaint was even made. And you can see it brings in some tweets. I'm going to go to the Decode here in the interest of time. Schiff replicates Rosenstein's method to the letter. If there is no evidence of a crime, find allies, fabricate it, and never stop trying. As simple as that. Rosenstein, thinking of framing POTUS through the wearing of a wire to later invoke the 25th Amendment, is not an isolated idea. It is in line with other failed attempts, such as the FISA, inserting spies in candidate Trump's campaign and recruiting Trump White House sources to spy for the FBI. Q 2030. Notice any similarities? After Schiff colluded with the whistleblower to inject into the system what he tried to present as evidence through parody, he started looking for votes to run his kangaroo court and prepare impeachment. That's exactly what Rosenstein thought of doing: record a guided conversation with POTUS and present it as false light to justify a vote with the use of the 25th Amendment. Knowing the FBI wanted to recruit White House spies and that Rosenstein was the almighty king of the DOJ, would it surprise you if the Ukraine called whistleblower was ever tied to Rosenstein? How about Windman and all the other career diplomats who were loyal to Tillerson? Puzzle coming together. Once again, Q 1941. Was Nazism ever really destroyed? The trio, Kelly, Rosenstein, and Tillerson, the cabal's shadow government, they failed. Here's John Kelly, here's Tillerson, there's Kelly again, there's Rosenstein meeting behind closed doors, being surveilled with Kelly there. This is Q 2901. Internal civil war. All-out assault against the duly elected president of the United States. We have never experienced anything like this in our history. Treason and sedition at the highest levels of the office through many departments. F plus D. Fake news plus the Democrats. Here is a comment. John Kelly showed his true colors after he was let go. Q 843. Roasted Q. By stating he would have served under Clinton if she'd won the 2016 election, clearly shows his motivations were never to fight the plague of pedophilia, blood, and human trafficking and put an end to the treason that has been exporting our wealth, selling our military secrets, and illegally spying on us. John Kelly is a retired general who occupied high-level government positions, allowing him to know the details, what was going on at the border, and the 16-year plan to destroy America. He knew better and simply picked his side. His mission was to infiltrate the White House and try to control POTUS' agenda through guided advice and stalling. He was helped by Rex Tillerson at the State Department, who was tasked to undermine Trump's foreign policy, while Rosenstein was actively working with Mueller for a clear path to impeachment. Did POTUS know? Of course he knew. That was the plan all along. Q 2446. How do you catch a fish? Mission forward. These people are stupid. Right, they had the bait out there. All pieces of the puzzle are collected. We can now extract the maestro's message. And so here's 3 more images of a lot of text that finalizes this. but it is meaty and good, so let's read it. Q. 2016 presidential election was historic. The country was at a crossroads. We had to decide whether we would allow the cabal to fully enslave us and execute their final phase of their 16-year plan to destroy America, or whether we would take control of our destiny and put an end to decades of abuse that target our children through pedophilia, human dignity through human organ and blood trafficking, our security through treason, our wealth through corruption, and our freedom through practices worthy of the Nazi era. Q. 1941. Was Nazism ever truly destroyed? Was it merely a subdivision within a larger organization? One finger attached to a hand? Did Antifa organically form? Flag design coincidence? Socialist push in U.S. worldwide coincidence? Global power struggle. There is a price we will not pay. There is a point beyond which they must not advance. We, the people. Q. 19 minutes after I was sworn in, the cabal instructed their lackeys at the Washington Post to publish a coded rallying cry to facilitate reckless endangerment of our republic and overturn the will of the American people. Their strategy was to activate or recruit anyone willing to conspire to neutralize or sabotage the action of my administration while arrangements were being made behind the scenes to get me out of office by any means necessary. Following their old JFK playbook, they tried several times to assassinate me and targeted my family. We have the evidence. Q. 586. What would happen if texts originating from the FBI agent to several internals discussed the assassination possibility of the POTUS or a member of his family? What if the texts suggest foreign allies were involved? Q. 1728. Unauthorized emergency incoming missile threat activated Hawaii. POTUS Air Force One. POTUS reroutes. Using information gathered from previous administrations and through treasonous means, they waged a silent war against our military and heavily jeopardized our national security. Q. 1030. Coincidence or silent war? Pray. Night. 2 in brackets Q. Q. 1068. Coincidence? Statistically impossible. Pray. Day. 1 in brackets Q. The Russia hoax with its Mueller probe and the current impeachment farce we are witnessing in Congress are the legal counterparts of this violent attack against our country. The cabal is assisted in operation by the C_A, the fake news, and Hollywood, with whom they share common values illustrated by their atrocious crimes against children and humanity and their joint effort to conceal or normalize them. Q. 1623. Trying to normalize? Who just joined the board at Netflix? Message 2 of 3. Yes, understand, they all ferociously fight me to be able to perpetuate with impunity crimes that originated from the devious belief system and that I have promised myself to eradicate. Q. 153. Ask yourself an honest question. Why would a billionaire who has it all, fame, fortune, and a warm and loving family, friends, etc., want to endanger himself and his family by becoming POTUS? Perhaps he could not stomach the thought of mass murders occurring to satisfy Moloch. Q10. These people worship Satan. Some openly show it. Q29. The pedo networks are being dismantled. On top of their treason and corruption, this is what is really at stake. This is the real reason they hate me. This is the real reason they hate you. This is what really drives Hussein, HRC, Pelosi, Schiff, and all their accomplices in Washington, the fake news in Hollywood. Q. 2872. Hillary Clinton and Foundation. Crime against children. Q. Q655. What happened at hotel? Adam Schiff. What is Adam Schiff attempting right now? Favor repaid? Q. Q 2901. Internal civil war, all-out assault against a duly elected president of the United States. We have never experienced anything like this in our history. Q 2901. Treason and sedition, the highest levels of office throughout many departments. F plus D. Fake news plus Democrats. Propaganda arm, fake news media of the D Party in full attack mode. No facts, only statements. Propaganda arm, fake news media of the D Party prevent, limit sheep. You as sheep, from learning the truth. Propaganda arm, fake news media of the D Party. Retain control of the narrative. Control over you. House D's. In full attack mode. No facts, only statements. Senate D's. In full attack mode. No facts, only statements. This is their last stand. Fear of prosecution. Fear of the public learning the truth. Fear of losing power. Bribes, blackmail, threats, etc. all being deployed. We are at war. Q. To eradicate the virus deposited at the cabal in our government, two options were open to me. Direct confrontation with all the risk it could entail for our populations, or the quiet execution of the military plan to identify and neutralize the forces of the enemy from the smallest agent to Hussein and HRC. Q. 22. What former president used the military to save the republic, and what occurred exactly. Biggest drop to ever be provided on political study and prepare. The masses tend to panic in such situations. No war, no civil unrest, clean and swift. Thus, in the first phase of my presidency, I let the snake in, gave him the illusion of being in charge, and allowed the cabal to infiltrate my administration by occupying highly strategic positions. I then instructed our military intelligence to collect all their communications in order to identify the crimes they were trying to hide, to whom they were responding, their plans, their accomplices, their modus operandi, and to obtain unassailable evidence of their treason and other crimes. 3 of 3. The military operation was fatal to Rosenstein. Evidence was collected establishing his treason and involvement in crimes against children, human trafficking, and uranium-1. Wow, I'm going to read that one more time. This is Rosenstein. Evidence was collected establishing his treason and involvement in crimes against children, human trafficking, and uranium-1. That's Rosenstein. Since Rosenstein was the cabal's focal point at the DOJ, monitoring his communication allowed to identify all the other bad actors. Q 2259, panic in D.C., Rod Rosenstein. Called Loretta Lynch 4 times in the past 11 days. Q 2260, panic in D.C., Loretta Lynch recorded calls with Rod Rosenstein. Loretta Lynch talking? Q. In addition to establishing the treason of former officials like Loretta Lynch, the collection of Rosenstein's communications also allowed to establish that the high-level officials like John Kelly and Rex Tillerson were in his team. In other words, we have it all. We know all the high-ranked officials who were communicating with Rosenstein, the 25th Amendment gladiator who tried to lead a coup. Now question, what is the purpose of a sandwich? The release of the first transcript led to the public being aware of the Dems' corruption and of the coup involving C_A assets posing as whistleblowers, lawyers, and career diplomats. Dems are not learning. They want to continue playing. No problem. Are you insisting you want to go up the ladder of crimes and bad actors? What do you think the release of the second transcript will bring? Q 3466. These people are stupid. Enjoy the show. Q. Woo! And then we have a little picture here of the whistleblower starring. It's got Hussein and HRC, Susan Rice, John Brennan, Nervous Nancy, Shifty Schiff. How to get the most out of a C_A whistleblower activated by low IQ Dems. And Then SB2 sent another message in the inbox. It says, future proves past. Q 3596. What advantages might exist when you know the other side's playbook? And he links to a Webster dictionary that basically just talks about the definition of trap, a device for taking in game or other animals, especially one that holds by springing shut suddenly. That's the trap he's talking about there, right? And then you see, he says, enjoy the show. Q 3598. Whistleblower traps. March 4th, 2018. We were looking about this in the recent Q post. Did you catch what the release of the second transcript gave us? It's very revealing. So listen to what POTUS says about the second transcript.
But in this case, because the press has been duped into a hoax, and in some cases have really started the hoax, I will give the letter if they want it. But I do say this about that call. I think that's a very revealing call.
It's a very revealing call. Boom. What does that second transcript have on it? I think it has some of the higher crimes, and he's actually discussing it. So when Rosenstein behind me sitting there going, coup, I got in brackets Rod Rosenstein, in brackets Kelly, in brackets Schiff. It is going to be exciting, guys. Really exciting. So tomorrow, again, I'm going to go over all the Q posts. I'm going to actually go over but my new kind of write-up about the difference between Jesus and the Bible versus the Quran, right? So if you want to hear more about Jesus and the Bible and Quran, that'll be tomorrow, as well as all the Q decodes and some more news. I did want to spend just about, just a little bit of time talking about my real passion, and that is fighting Soros in this whole battle. Seeing everything get ripped out and us coming into it, the remnant, right? That's what I call the remnant. And that's important, guys. If we look at that, I'm going to flip over to this camera real quick and just say, hi. And I'm excited about talking to you about this a little bit, because this is where we can actually make a difference. And I've talked to quite a bit of you. Some of you know my experience. I got this call. Your mom has gone into septic shock and you need to get back to the hospital. Me, my dad, and my brothers left the restaurant in Guadalajara, Mexico, and returned to the hospital across the street. See, my mom and dad had retired down in Mexico 8 years earlier and earned the right to the Mexican free healthcare system. The last 3 weeks had been hell, and we continued to experience misdiagnosis after misdiagnosis. And after they admitted her to the hospital, they didn't even have enough x-ray machines at the times we needed it. And then after they determined she needed surgery, they did not have enough surgeons to conduct the surgery when we needed. So instead we had to watch my mom's pancreas poison herself from the inside. When we finally got the surgery, we were relieved and went to the restaurant thinking she might actually make it. But instead she passed away, and a few days later, just after that phone call. This is when I realized that free healthcare, Medicare for all, is actually rationed healthcare and does not work. But now we see the deep state in the U.S. not only wants to control healthcare, they want to control academia and push socialism. They also control the media and Hollywood and much of the government, and they are now teaching our children and our friends and we the people that what is right is wrong, what's wrong is right. And our culture continues in this downward spiral. So I decided to fight the fake news media by starting a YouTube channel called Blessed to Teach, as you are on right now, and help teach truth versus lies. And after a few months, one of the videos got over 250,000 views, and we quickly grew to over 60,000 subscribers of primarily Christian patriots. I started learning the struggles of my subscribers, and I learned from you that you're frustrated. You were frustrated with culture. You're frustrated with the attacks on the family, and they felt they could not protect their children from all the lies. They were frustrated with the spiritual fog where people have forgotten God and won't even discuss Him or Satan. They are frustrated with the inability to awaken others to the truth of the world and felt disrespected and sometimes lonely. And after hearing so much frustration and so many heartbreaking stories from these Christian patriots, from you, I knew God was calling me to something bigger, something much bigger. So I created the Cultural Impact System. Again, my name is Rick, and I believe in the power of one person working in this system can have massive impact in reversing the ungodly culture. I am now working with many people just like you to move them from frustrated spectators to powerful impactors that are protecting their children, destroying the spiritual fog in the society, and awakening others to the truth of this world. Now, I'm just going to really quickly summarize how we can do that. It's really, the Cultural Impact System has 3 steps, and they're pretty simple, but they're very impactful. The first one is confirming your passion area in a very specific pattern. Everyone else says, yeah, work in your passion area, but that's not nearly enough. I say you have to really understand how the enemy's attacking us. All 7 mountains of cultural influence, and I have PDFs on this that you now they're free, that you can go get. Listen to my video series, and you can actually go make progress in understanding how the enemy's attacking the 7 mountains of cultural influence and where you might be called to go act on, based on how we're going to react to the enemy's attacks. And then the other thing that other people don't tell you is that you need to find other Christian patriots with that same passion. Then you can make amazing progress together. That's the first step, is confirm your passion area and find others in it. Second step is to confirm your giftings and understand others. This is vital for you guys. I'm telling you, most people think about this the wrong way. Here's how you should think about it. Your children, your loved ones all have a personality type, and you need to adjust your style to them. And when we're going to make a difference out in the world, you need to adjust your style of your team to who you're trying to influence. That's the second part, is just confirm your giftings, understand how to see others, and you can really do much better and outperform Soros. Third is just go execute. And this is my expertise, what I did all my career, and that is execute in an awesome fashion. This is a window of opportunity we have, guys, right now. It's a window of opportunity with the Trump movement and the Great Awakening to go take ground from the enemy and hold it. And I am an expert in my whole career in teaching design thinking to set outcomes and how to use agile techniques to achieve things in an incredibly efficient way. It's fun to execute as a team with people with a variety of gifts in your passion area. Again, you heard from, if you watched the webinar last night, you heard from Tammy Bond Campbell, who really now how can adjust her approach and understands where she fits, and she feels so much in home. And she's got this Raw Truth Media is one group. Tammy actually is helping run another cultural impact. We call it the Impactor Teams. And these Impactor Teams are doing amazing things as people are really confirming their gifts and actually doing amazing things. And she has a group called Truth Connectors, an awesome team. You're going to meet these guys if you want to go deeper with me and join them. Now, again, there's a lot that this goes into. Each one of these have concrete steps you can take right now with the free PDFs, and that's fine. Those of you who want to go deeper with me are going to get assessments. You're going to have weekly calls with me, and we're going to actually go take ground together as impactors. Now, one of the most common questions I get is, I love this stuff, I love this idea, but what do I do next, Rick? The next step is for you to register for the 5-week online course of the Cultural Impact System. It starts Monday the 18th, or then that at night, or be available for everybody on Tuesday the 19th. Right? We're starting here this upcoming week, and we only have 2 or 3 classes a year, so now's the time to get in to meet other Christian patriots. And this is a good time of year, actually, because the first couple of weeks you're going to learn how to adjust your style to your family to survive them during the holidays. So whether you just learned about the evil of the deep state recently, or whether you know about the evil for many years, or whether you've known about this evil for your entire life, the Cultural Impact System is for you. Again, I've taken a ton of classes preparing for this for the last 2 years, guys. I've taken 4 classes. 2 of them were $2,000, and 2 of them were almost $8,000. And they were incredibly good. It helped me build my platform, understand communities, how to build online courses for you guys, how I can train numerous teams at the same time. And they were incredibly valuable. I have a slide that actually shows the value of this course to be over $5,000. And again, if you wanted to become a design thinking expert, to just take a 2-day course, not an expert, but just take a 2-day course, $2,200. You want to take a 2-day course for Agile, $1,200. You can take this full 5-week course, 2 months of free impactor community. Be with me every week in training for only $997. There's also payment options. Now, I know human nature, and that means you'll want to procrastinate. But I also know that this program works and it will help you. So to help you make the right decision, I'm offering an additional bonus right now. You'll get a 1-hour free training before Thanksgiving on surviving families with your surviving the holidays with your crazy family. Again, I'm going to really work on how you perceive, how the perception of other people's personality, and how you can adjust your style to bond better, share your faith in God, and red pill and wake people up. Again, perfect for the holidays. We'll have that before Thanksgiving, so join me. You also get a free Impactor t-shirt. And if you're one of the first 10 to sign up, I'm taking the webinar special over. You get $200 off that and go for only $797. So let me ask you, can you picture a day when you are working in your true passion area with other Christian patriots in the same passion area? Picture a day when a good friend comes to you and says, "Thank you for sharing the truth with me." Picture a day when your children look at the culture and is actually honoring the Constitution and is honoring our Lord and our God. Go to now.impactculturenow.com and let's become impactors together. Again, that's now.impactculturenow.com. Links down below as well. I will leave you with this. I don't want anybody else to lose their mother to rationed healthcare, nor any other family or friends that you have. And I believe as impactors, we can end the downward spiral in all 7 mountains of cultural influence. So let's become impactors together so that we can protect our family and our children and help them know God. Let's become impactors together so that we can wake up and give truth to our friends and family without being disrespected and without feeling lonely. Let's become impactors together to be able to eliminate the spiritual fog so we can share the truth of the gospel with the world. Join me. Let's become impactors together. All right, thank you guys, and let me pray. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for this awesome group of patriots. I pray that many of them will join me in this deeper dive into how to really make an impact on the ungodly world. Lord, I just pray for those that are having a hard time protecting their children and allowing their children to really know God. I pray for those who are lonely because the truth has brought them loneliness as they are unequally yoked with other people. Lord, I pray for those who want to wake up their friends and family and red pill their family, but they become disrespected and then people aren't listening. Lord, I pray for all those wanting this spiritual fog to be able to break through this spiritual fog and be able to share God and let the world know about Satan and how we can defeat him. Lord, I pray for all the Christian patriots that really want to make a difference. Use me, Lord. Use them. We love you, Lord, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys. I really appreciate you so much. And I'll tell you what. I know I went long here, but it's like you can tell I am so passionate about this. And I'm so passionate about what SB2 is doing. I'm so passionate about what Q is doing and everything we can show Q. But I tell you what, I can't do this alone. I really want those that can afford to invest in themselves to do what I've been doing for the last year and a half, invest in myself to really go out and attack this and make a difference. And I think we can do it in a mighty way. In fact, there's the link, now.impactculturenow.com. Again, it's the cultural impact system you see above my head. And we got an impactor logo for the shirt. That's something that can be on the back with the culture impact on the front. It is going to be a fun time. It's going to be, again, only 2 or 3 times a year do we bring in a class. So we bring it and we all start together. We're all starting Monday night, Tuesday morning. All right, and we'll have some things to prepare you for your family on Thanksgiving. It's going to be fun. Now.impactculturenow.com. God bless you guys. You guys are so awesome. Love you. Can't wait to see you tomorrow around 4 o'clock is when we are going to go after the Q decodes, get into some news, and go over the new thing about Jesus in the Quran versus the Bible. All right? God bless you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.